4 years, people have asked one simple question. When is Apple finally going to release a foldable iPhone? Now, it looks like that moment is getting very close. Fresh leaks have surfaced, revealing key design details about Apple's first foldable, the so-called iPhone Fold. According to a new report from Weibo tipster Instant Digital, the iPhone Fold isn't just another folding phone trying to copy what's already out there. Instead, Apple appears to be rethinking both the internal structure and external layout from the ground up, and some of these decisions feel very much like classic Apple. The buttons are where things get particularly interesting. The leak claims that the volume buttons will be positioned on the top right edge of the device, a layout more reminiscent of an iPad mini than a traditional iPhone. Reportedly, Apple has placed the motherboard on the right side of the foldable chassis. By keeping key components concentrated on one side rather than routing complex cables across the hinge to the left, Apple reduces potential points of failure, which should improve long-term durability. On that same right edge, the power button is said to integrate Touch ID, marking a notable return of the technology for practical reasons, since Face ID may face challenges in a foldable design. The camera control button is also on the right side, while the left edge of the iPhone Fold is completely clean, with no buttons or cutouts, giving it a smooth, uninterrupted frame. The front display is rumored to feature a single punch-hole camera for selfies and video calls, with no notch and no dynamic island-style pill, creating one of Apple's most streamlined front designs in years. The back may spark even more discussion, with a dual camera setup housed inside what's described as an iPhone Air-style camera plateau, a flatter and more subtle housing compared to the large square modules on current Pro models. Alongside the two camera sensors, there will be an LED flash and a microphone. Color options at launch are rumored to be limited to just two, including white, reflecting a premium, tightly controlled rollout rather than a broad market push. Inside, the iPhone Fold is said to feature a stacked internal design, concentrating key hardware in one area to free up space for a larger battery, addressing a common shortcoming of foldable phones. Battery life has long been a compromise for folding devices, and if Apple succeeds in delivering strong endurance in a slim folding chassis, it could set the iPhone Fold apart from competitors. Apple rarely enters a product category first, preferring to wait, study, and refine the experience. Foldables have existed for years, but Apple's entry may signal that the technology has matured enough to meet its high standards. The rumored September debut aligns with Apple's traditional fall launch cycle, potentially allowing the iPhone Fold to share the stage with other flagship announcements and immediately become one of the most talked-about devices of the year. This isn't just about a folding screen, it's about reimagining usability, durability, and everyday practicality in a new form factor. Concentrated motherboard placement, fewer hinge crossing cables, integrated Touch ID, and a stacked battery design are structural choices that could define how reliable the device feels over time. The question now is whether the iPhone Fold will push foldables into the mainstream or remain a high-end experimental device for early adopters.